Will Trump announce he plans to make Bitcoin a strategic reserve asset this Saturday? The last week in politics has been one of the wildest weeks, potentially in all of American history. Trump survived an assassination attempt, the sitting US president dropped out of the election race, and now the election is only a few months away. Looking back so far in 2024, it has been a regulatory roller coaster. We had a debate on whether the Bitcoin ETFs would finally get approved. We had a fake approval tweet made by the SEC Twitter account getting hacked. We then saw a real approval and billions of dollars of inflows. We saw a regulatory scare with various privacy tools, and we're only just over halfway done with the year so far. This week, many eyes will be on Bitcoin 2024 in Nashville, Tennessee. Before even thinking about what Trump may or may not say, it's wild to think about how far we've come just a few years. Just a few years ago, Bitcoin was laughed at by virtually everyone in traditional finance. Now we've had the most successful ETF launch in history. Larry Fink has started to really embrace Bitcoin, and the former president of the United States is speaking at a Bitcoin-only conference with speculation that he may announce his plan to make Bitcoin a strategic reserve asset. Whether that happens or doesn't happen, it's incredible how far Bitcoin has come in such a short period of time, despite so much criticism from so many intelligent people. So what's actually going to happen? Will Trump announce a strategic Bitcoin reserve for America? Well, right now, Polymarket enables betting on this exact question, and it's sitting at a 26% chance that Trump will announce a strategic Bitcoin reserve. From my perspective, this is probably a pretty fair valuation for this. If I had to bet, I would say he wouldn't say this directly, but it is Donald Trump, so anything is possible. Regardless of whether he will or will not, I think he ultimately should implement a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Right now, the US national debt is about $35 trillion. I think there's many people that feel like this is wrong or unsustainable, but they can't grasp how exactly it will play out. From my perspective, over the last 100 plus years, the US dollar has effectively become the world reserve currency. Economic systems converge on one best money for savings and trade. This has enabled the US to become the epicenter of global finance. Everyone wants to hold dollars over their local currency because the dollar is the best fiat money. This trend of globalization and convergence on the US dollar has enabled the United States to run trillion-dollar deficits, issue trillions of dollars of T-bills, and they get held by the rest of the world. T-bills, which are short-term US debt, are designated as cash and cash equivalents, and arguably T-bills are the best form of dollar cash. They are safer than banks once you hold more than the FDIC-insured $250,000 maximum. They currently earn a 5% annual yield, and your counterparty is the US government, who legally cannot default and can always print money to pay you back if needed. So this high increasing global demand for US dollars, which is just the government spending money, is how the US debt has ballooned so high without any major issues like catastrophic inflation. So what's important to understand is that the dollar was the best money. So that's why everyone wanted to hold dollars, which include holding T-bills. Gold wasn't portable enough and it became too centralized. So many people stopped simply caring about gold. There was simply no better alternative, and the lack of the superior alternative is what enabled the US government to become as large as it is today. But under the scenario that a better form of money does begin to exist, what should happen? Well, it would be very reasonable to all economic actors to ultimately sell the bad money and buy the good money. If the supply of dollars is growing at 7% per year and the supply of Bitcoin is growing at 1% per year and trending to 0%, then it seems likely that the rational decision will be to sell T-bills and buy Bitcoin. And this applies to businesses, countries, and even the United States itself, which can print T-bills out of thin air. Some people might think this is bad, as the government would be forced to actually become fiscally responsible. But it also seems inevitable now that a better money exists. So now that Bitcoin actually exists, you need to adapt to this new economic reality, whether you initially feel good about that or you don't. And at the end of the day, I think fiscally responsible governments and sound money will be great for society. It'll maximize economic growth, reduce global conflict, and incentivize peace over violence. So I think that's the ultimate game theory here. Entities can print money and now buy unprintable money. And I think it's critical that the United States is one of the first to do this. So, Donald Trump, if you're listening to this, let's make America great again by buying Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset. Thanks for watching, everyone, and see you next time.